Let's see. Let's actually... We did level up. Let's use a skill point here, and we are one away from getting Master Throw for ourselves. Then for Ashley, we were saying... maybe a little bit more in Soldier, I think. And after leveling up, she does gain it... I think everybody gains a little bit of health whenever they level. So we were just shy of 500 HP on the previous level, but now she has, after leveling up, gotten there. Just not to say we shouldn't necessarily take more HP, but that totally arbitrary number we've now reached. Otherwise, I mean, we do have Assault Training here, gives her a little bit more damage. A lot more melee damage, but I don't think that's... every once in a while that makes a difference. Let's see. Alternatively... yeah, I mean, I'm not so keen on having you get your pistols upgraded, because you are capable of doing shotguns, assault rifles, sniper rifles. You are capable of wielding any weapon. The chance of you having to use a pistol is very low. A very low chance you're going to be using that, so I would say probably do go Soldier. Either that or it's combat armor, to just make it so that you can recharge your shields more easily. I mean, it's also not bad. It's a similar situation or similar theme. Either way, we're trying to add to her defensiveness. Okay, as for Liara, though, for her, we're also sort of running out of stuff there. We put 1 point in Asari Scientist just so that she could get a little bit more on the biotic recharge time. But I think Barrier may be preferable for her from here on out. So let's go for that. And that should be everybody. Yep, okay. And yeah, valuable minerals. We have now completed light metals, so it is only heavy metals that we have remaining. And we're getting close to that too. But yeah, what I want to do is I want to save here. Notice how it didn't look like there were any enemies, but now suddenly there are. Maybe I just attempted to shoot at those sniping towers and missed the actual enemies in them. But it really seemed like I hit them, and nothing happened. We also did not have anything showing up on our maps. You know, no red triangles, or wow, that was maybe not the best time to move forward. But no red triangles showing up on our map. There's no sign in that sense of there being enemies either. Didn't you from here? No. Ooh, you're hanging out in that tower. And there's someone else hanging out in this. Yeah, that tower. I missed you. I just machine gun you down. Wow. No, apparently that did not hit you. I would think taking a rocket to the face would do the trick. Apparently, your face is quite hard to hit. From this angle, still no. It's also still somebody here. There we go, got rid of them. Oh, it's stuck in this little divot. Alright, in theory, there's two more. Ow, they did hit us with a sniper. And I did not manage to hit them there. Might try to move in here. As it is, I just can't really see where the person begins and the structure ends. So maybe from a different angle. Do that. This guy. Where the heck are you? Thought you were in there. But no, you're over here. And now, suddenly, there appears to be a Colossus that has woken up. It was kind of just hanging out there before and didn't really do anything. In fact, wasn't even showing up on our map. That silly is, isn't it? No, not quite. I don't think, but we maybe shouldn't be out in the open like this. What if we maybe try to approach from here? From above? Blamma? Whamma blamma? Just through that? No, definitely not through that. just the Colossus remaining? I think it may be. There we go. Sidestep that.
I'm surprised. I figured one of these outposts would be the main base of operations for this incursion.
One moment. This receiver appears to be picking up some kind of transmission. Based on the signal strength, I would say it's coming from inside this star cluster.
It's gotta be the main base. We can use the signal to lock onto its location and go take it out.
Okay. So, that was what we previously had thought would be the fourth and final base, but by the looks of things, it seems as though... That's a weird sound. It seems as though there's actually a fifth base, the quote-unquote main base. This that's making the sound? This? It's kind of naturally picking up and then dropping back down. I mean, seems like it's coming from over here-ish. Right here. But, anyways, I don't think there's anything else for us to do, at least at this base. We should have some new equipment here. Some more shredder rounds, sledgehammer rounds. Those are new. Look at this. This is our first level 9 item. Kinetic Exoskeleton. That's an armor upgrade. Just take a quick look at it. I believe that is one that we were looking at. Is this one we were looking at before? No, I suppose not. This is quite a good one. I'm a fan of this. So the shield recovery, 45 shields is decent, and then mobile accuracy. It's quite versatile. It's quite versatile. You know, it has solid defenses, and then giving you the mobile accuracy is nice for probably more so the combat-related people, like Ashley might be a good fit for this. Less so, perhaps, for the people who are more power-based characters. Oh, and let's take a look at our journal here. The Geth Incursions is, of course, the one we're doing. And you've discovered a locator signal for a major Geth military installation. Geth are using the facility as a base of operations for their recent incursions into the Armstrong cluster. So, of course, that means we need to eliminate this Geth bunker, find and destroy the main Geth base of operations in the Grissom system of the Armstrong Nebula cluster in order to stop the Geth incursion. Okay. But before we do that, I think we still have a little bit more ground to cover here. So we are, what, up here? And where did we begin? We began, like, there-ish? So I think we just have a little bit more stuff that we've yet to see in this westernmost area. And then maybe right in the middle as well. So let's head over there. Whoa, okay, I mean, we want to head... I think we technically do kind of want to sort of head straight west from here before we head south, so we actually don't want to make a beeline for our custom marker, which I started to do and then realized, hold on, while we're up here, let's stay up here. In case there is anything at this elevation, it would be a shame to drop down, only to realize afterward that we need to go back up. Also, this really doesn't look that steep compared to some of the other stuff that we've gone up, so come on, Mako. You can do it. I know you can do it. Maybe we approach from a slightly different angle? Like so. Just get some momentum going. Get over that ledge. Okay, and see, now we're starting to find the edge of the map. There we go. Okay, so now we can at least confirm that there does not appear to be anything else over there. That looks so red from this angle. That, very red. As planets go. Alright, I mean, we've gotta. Right? We were falling for so long, our jet boosters came off cooldown, and we could use them twice. Now this is very flat. You know what that means. The potential is there. Pressure jaw? not seeming like there's anything here. And then we'll be approaching the area where we initially dropped down if we keep on going in this direction. So I think we cut in a little bit toward the middle, just to see if there is anything else that we might have missed, but I think once we've done that, we'll head back up to the Normandy. Not seeing much here. So let's just double check our map and see how far in we've made it at this stage. But yeah, we're basically right in the middle. So I think that's probably a pretty safe spot for us to say that, yeah, we've explored just about everything there is to explore, and seeing nothing else here, I think we are clear. Head back in. Let's do that. Okay, so as a reminder, we just learned that there is an additional spot in this same system where we're expecting that main Geth base to be. So technically speaking, when we were looking at our galaxy map, which we'll of course do here, previously, we could only see 4 systems. We saw Gagarin was the furthest in this direction. Perishkova, then we went to Hong, and then we just did Vamshi. We could not see the Grissom system before. So this is entirely new, only available once we do complete those other Geth outposts. Now, technically speaking, I think this mission has some minor bugs in which, depending on the order in which you do those Geth outposts, there is a chance you can get this one to show up before you've actually completed all the other ones. Or at the very least, you can have your party members suggest that you have gotten rid of all the Geth outposts when you have only done 1 or 2 or 3 and not all of the 4 that would normally take to unlock this one. But didn't happen to us this time, fortunately. So it worked out as planned. Let's head over to the Grissom system. Okay, so in this new system, we've got the Benda, David Beckham. Benda has a dense atmosphere of sulfur dioxide and chlorine, though technically classified as a terrestrial world, but the surface of the planet has never cooled enough for a crust to form. It is a global sea of molten rock. Like Zararux, its atmosphere is being blasted away by the solar wind. Once its thick atmosphere is gone, Benda's surface will be a mere 400 degrees Celsius. Oh my god! Look at its surface temperature. Yeah, comparatively speaking, 400 degrees Celsius, maybe that is a mere 400 degrees Celsius when your current surface temperature is 3,151, by far the hottest we've seen thus far, I'd have to imagine. Also extremely thick atmosphere, so yeah, there's a lot of atmosphere to lose before it gets to that point, but that is insane. That is crazy. By comparison, what is probably have a better sense of what Venus's temperature is in Fahrenheit, not Celsius, but what, in like the 400s Fahrenheit or something like that? It's an order of magnitude higher than basically any other planet that we've seen, put it generally speaking. Let's survey this. We found a medallion. Scans of Benda uncovered an ancient Solarian vessel. A small team was dispatched to search for valuables. The only item of value recovered was a League of One medallion. Okay, so that was Benda. Then we've got Zararux, and Benda did allude to Zararux. Zararux is a nitrogen-argon atmosphere, or its nitrogen-argon atmosphere is being blasted away by the solar wind of the blue giant Grissom. Its surface consists of seas of loose silica dust, some kilometers deep, which periodically swirl into global sandstorms. That sounds wonderful. Many unmanned probes to Zararux have been lost over the years. no investigation has revealed all to mechanical failure or computational error, a popular Astronet meme insists that entire planet is composed of dormant nanotechnology. The entire planet? That is pretty crazy. Created millennia ago by a race even more advanced than the Protheans. Whoa. According to the story, Zararuk's silica dust is actually disassembler robots which periodically awaken to defend themselves. Though discounted by every reputable scientist, this theory has been popularized by a series of sensationalistic texts by Asari author Delse Orthigsa. This is also, I mean, it seems like perhaps this is just an extremely powerful star, because the previous planet, as we were just saying, was, what, like 3,000 something degrees Celsius? This one is almost 1,000 degrees Celsius, and it's further away. And it has nowhere near as thick of an atmosphere, and usually the atmosphere is one of the key factors that is retaining that heat. So, yeah, this star just seems ridiculously strong. We can also survey this planet, and we get a light metal. So this is one where, I think it was, isn't it heavy metals that's the only one that we need at this stage? I think we just completed the light metals. And again, we can still get more of them, we'll still get experience, we'll still get credits for it. But it is no longer one that we need to hit a threshold for in order to complete the overarching mission. So while scanning this planet, you detected a large deposit of beryllium on a small nearby moon. Then we have a large asteroid belt here. Let's see. Actually, there's another one even further out. It'll be much larger still. So let's see if there is anything of note in here. Just trying not to accidentally, hit one of the planets, because that'll obviously give us a false positive. Not seeing anything there, though. Perhaps in the larger asteroid belt further out. Then we have Notenban and Sulcrum. Start with Notenban. Oh, does it not look purple from the previous screen? Notenban is a hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of ammonia. Molecular nitrogen is present in the highest levels of the atmosphere, giving the planet its odd violet tint. It's very cool. I did not see that one coming. The upper levels of Notenban's atmosphere are inhabited by shoals, a tiny ammonia-based life forms in the atmosphere? That's cool. No larger or more complex than the plankton of Earth's oceans. Held aloft by air pressure and wind, these bioluminescent creatures constantly flee from the approach of the Terminator. Should Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming for them. Should they be exposed to the light and heat of Grissom, they die. Oh, I mean, then again, we were reading about the other planets that said they were, 3,000 degrees Celsius, 1,000 degrees Celsius. So yeah, if you're getting hit by the sun and it's that powerful, understandable that you would probably die. I mean, this planet is a little bit further out still, so maybe it's a little bit less strong when you're this far away, but still probably not something that you want to be blasted by, those rays. And then we have Solcrum. Now we can land here. Warning, level 1 heat hazard. Solcrum is the largest moon of the gas giant Notenban. It has a trace atmosphere of krypton and xenon. The crust is composed of various metals with deposits of sodium. As with every body in the solar system, the surface is scorching hot and thoroughly irradiated by the blue giant Grissom. Surface excursions without proper protective gear are certain to prove fatal. On approach to Notenban, Normandy's passive sensor array intercepted a fragmentary code transmission from the surface of Solcrum. Attempts to decrypt the message were fruitless. It does not appear to be in any software coding language used by the Citadel races. Well, then again, we do know that there appears to be a significant Geth base here, so presumably that is a transmission coming from the Geth, and suppose that, we just don't have a great understanding as to what it is that they're trying to communicate in that case. Let's see. And more about this, so they're saying level 1 heat hazard, it's 351 degrees Celsius. So, we can, in theory, wear a environmental hazard resistant piece of armor, and then we're totally fine. Just ignore the fact that it's 3 times the heat of boiling. Totally fine. It's not like you would just immediately melt there. You're wearing that special armor. Just ignore the fact that it's technically only one of your party members who needs to wear it, and the other 2 are somehow also surviving, despite it being only that one party member who has the special gear for that situation. Just don't ask questions about it. So that is the place where we will land. But let's check out other places before we do that. Namely, there's just, yes, this asteroid belt out here, and we almost immediately found something here. There's a rocky asteroid. An asteroid composed of mixed metals and silicates. And we found a rare earth metal. Scans of the asteroid field revealed a small deposit of polonium. Okay, and it is certainly possible that we could find other things in this asteroid field, especially because it is so large. So we'll take a look around here and make sure we don't miss anything, because I would not rule that out, although at this point it'd be quite close to the other one, so it seems like it is just this one here. Alright, so that leaves us with just Sulcrum. And I do wonder, technically speaking, I think I may have talked about this a little bit before, but the hazards, especially when it comes to heat and cold, and, you know, some of them are level 1, some of them are level 2, but they aren't always the most consistent in terms of, like, this one is listed as a level 1 heat hazard, although at 351 degrees Celsius, it is probably hotter than all of the other level 1 heat hazard planets that we may have been on, and may even be hotter than some of the, I mean, we don't have many level 2 hazard places, but if we have run into any level 2 heat hazard places, this might be hotter than even those. So, perhaps a little strange in that regard, but let's land. Okay. And for this one is a little bit different. This is, of course, supposed to be the main Geth base, but I think our strategy here in terms of picking a team should be a little bit different, because I think we're going to find, if it's their main base, we're going to run into more enemies, and we may also spend a little bit less time in the Mako, or at least have more things to do outside of the Mako. So for that reason, I think it is, at the very least, more relevant which party members were taken, because, of course, it doesn't matter much when we're in the Mako. So I think the other thing is that I would like to make a point of taking Tally here. So let's do that. She certainly is good against the Geth with all of her tech abilities. Then I'm thinking maybe we go with Rex to complement her, giving us a little more biotic strength for some crowd control, and then gives us at least some combat abilities. I like this combo, I think. Alright, so yes, we do have a level 1 hazard, as expected, and we may want to put on one of those hazard-resistant pieces of gear so that we aren't actually having that be a factor here. Well, let's look at our squad, because yes, we have gotten a few levels since we last used both Rex and Tally. Start with Rex here, and we were trying to get up to Master Throw, and we could actually get quite close to it. We're one away. Let's do that. And then on Tally's side, let's see, what do we want here? Might have been scaling the shields, or might have actually gotten advanced damping most recently. I don't recall. But with 3 points, we can get closer master damping. We certainly won't get there yet, but that might be worth doing. And just these levels that we're getting along the way give us additional radius for her other tech abilities, which is not a, I mean, 2% per level is maybe not all that noticeable, but, you know, 6% on the whole might start to add up to a bit of something. Otherwise, decryption just for damage, 2% each level, or Quarian Machinist, or however we decided we were going to try to pronounce this word, for more defenses. Don't think we're going to want more on pistols. I mean, in Tally's case, yes, she has access to the shotguns, and by and large, the shotguns are going to be better than the pistols, but because Tally can only be trained on 2 weapons, if, say, an opponent uses Sabotage to overload her shotguns, then she is going to have to revert to the pistol. Unlike, say, someone like Ashley, who, if one of her weapons gets overloaded, she has any number of other ones that she could transition to, and wouldn't really need to go to the pistol unless everything is somehow sabotaged simultaneously. So, I think let's try to push damping here, because we don't have that. That is one of the few tech abilities that we do not have access to. So I think for that reason it is nice to have someone who is capable of using that and using that fairly well. I think Garrus is our other person who has it, but I don't remember. We didn't initially level it up, but we might have somewhat recently got that one up to at least advanced. Not sure if we have him on Master or not. If we don't, then we obviously don't have anyone on Master right now. So yeah, let's go this route. And we'll try to get you up to Master. Okay, and that is everything there. If we look at our equipment, we're going to want to have somebody who has one of the hazard-resistant pieces of gear. We're looking for a armor that is made by Devlon, like this. This is Krogan, so we could put this on Rex. That would work. Let's see what our highest level Devlon armor is. Could have put this on Ashley if we brought her, but we did not. We have this for Garrus, but we didn't bring him. Okay. So it does look like our highest level one is our Krogan one. So Rex, congratulations, you are the sacrificial lamb wearing what is, yes, weaker armor, but does, at the very least, give us the resistance to the hazards, and that is maybe not your best color. Let's take a look at our map here. So we have, I'm guessing this is our base, or at least as our exclamation point, so presumably the answer is yes. Then we have anomaly and debris, and thinking maybe what we do here is, what if we go and we take a little bit of a strange angle, but we go straight for the debris, and then we go clockwise around, and that allows us to finish not quite exactly on the quest marker, but we'd have very little remaining after that. Let's actually mark this before we do head out, though. Okay, so in this terrain reminds me of the moon. Back when we did the moon mission, like Earth's moon. This is also a moon, as it turns out. Coincidence? I think not. I'd love if we didn't have to go over that. That would be great. I would appreciate if that was the case, although it is seemingly right at the top of this. Oh, come on. We had the angle, but I just missed the mark of it there. Come on, lids. You gotta go on the edge like this. You gotta live it on the edge. A little bit more to the right. A little bit more to the right. Come on, you got it. You got it, Mako. A little bit more. Easy does it. Like so. Come on. Good to it. There we are. Okay. So it's up here. Actually, right on the edge of the map. I did not think it was going to be... Did I think it was going to be that far south? I don't know. I have to double check if it looked like it was at the very bottom of the map. Is it actually elevated? Or is it not? Because on second thought, it may not be. I don't think it is. So, it is this crash probe looking like thing over here. That's exactly what it is. And as you can see there, our meter is not actually going up. It would normally be a meter, but because we have Rex's extremely stylish yellow pastel-like armor, everyone is totally fine, despite this being, what, did we say, like 400 degrees Celsius here? Just don't worry about it. Alright, then we have, Combat Optics 8, so that's another higher level weapon upgrade. This one, I believe, is basically the upgrade for the new version of the scanner. Then Friction Materials 9. Whoa! Eagles here. That was one that we were saying, we put on, I think, Ashley. And I was saying, no, I do really like that. And I'd like to put that on other people. Perhaps I'd prioritize someone else above Ashley, but the heatsink is basically the lower level version of it. So again, we have that question of heat absorption versus heat damping. What is technically the difference? I don't know for certain. But let's make this exchange, I think, is probably still worth doing. And then we also have a rail extension. There's another one that we were talking about a little while ago. But extra damage, lower heat absorption. Let's see. I do believe we have an upgraded version of that. Okay, yeah, so here's the combat optics. It gives the level 8 detection, so the same type of scanning abilities, but it also gives you some accuracy on top of that, so that's why it's a little bit better. And for you, Rex, yeah. You go from rail extension 5, which is what he currently has, to rail extension 7 instead. I think the heat absorption is always negative 20, but I think the damage goes up. Let's do that. And then, speaking of rail, yeah, actually, I think what you really like is you like the rail extensions on the shotguns. You like the shotguns being just shoot once or twice and shoot really hard, whereas the assault rifles is more so you want to be able to hold the fire button down for an extended period of time. So what I think we do is maybe we actually nab the upgrade that we just took on the assault rifle, instead put it on Rex's shotgun. For the rail extension. Just don't think that's really something you're necessarily looking for on an assault rifle. Stability is not a bad idea, because that means the longer that you're firing, the more accurate, or the more that your accuracy stays the same, or your reticle stays the same, rather than, you know, for example, like if you have really low stability, and your reticle might start out really small and precise as you're starting to aim, but then as soon as you start firing, it suddenly becomes huge, and you're firing all over the place. So for weapons like an assault rifle, where you're firing for extended periods of time, it does start to become a factor. So I would think stability could be helpful in that sense. So then now that means we can, yeah, upgrade rail extension here, or even go double rail extension. That is possible. Let's see. So we had the rail extension 5. Now we have rail extension 7. And yeah, this weapon has 9 heatsink capacity. So that means that even if we are getting, what is it, minus 40%? That's still not that bad, given how much margin for error we have in that sense. And, ooh, we have Hammerhead Rounds for additional weapons force, so yeah, it's quite literally just hit hard, knock them on the ground, but that's only a level 3 type of, type of ammo, and I did not even realize we picked this up. High explosive rounds, talking about heat generation and damage and weapons force. Designed to detonate on impact. High explosive rounds have one major drawback, a massive increase in weapon overheating. It does come with AoE as well. Not a very large AoE, 4 meters, but that's something. That is still something. And humongous damage. Now, combining that with the rail extension, in some ways is actually not a terrible idea, because what tends to happen with the plus 500 heat generation basically means you fire this thing once and then it overheats. So if it's going to overheat no matter what you do, you might as well hit as hard as you possibly can with that one shot. So it's a bit of a meme, but let's try it. Now, of course, having Rex using it as a CPU does perhaps complicate matters a bit, because we can't, you know, we can't sort of manage that so much. I mean, we could try to manually tell him to switch weapons when he overheats. I mean, I actually don't recall. Our allies will switch weapons if their weapon overheats. I think if they get sabotage, they will. But if they just overheat by firing for too long, I'm not sure if they will. And in fact, it may just be that the way that the AI is programmed, they will never fire long. Suspicious. Suspicious. Pressure jaw? Question mark? Not sure if we've ever seen one in a hazard location before, to tell you the truth. But I wouldn't necessarily say that that rules them out. Looks like it's actually up here, though. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about there? Is it just, you're gonna overheat your weapons, might as well overheat them a lot? Oh, and it was the, what do our friends do if their weapons do overheat? Do they ever switch their weapons? Or do we have to always do that manually? A sorry capsule. Okay, hold on. Let me finish this thought before I get distracted by this. Because I think if they do get overload, or if they get sabotaged, then they will. But I think perhaps by default, the AI is programmed such that they will not shoot long enough to overheat their weapons, unless if you set them up with weapons with specific ammo and upgrades that makes it so they just automatically overheat after one shot, which is basically what we just did to Rex. So, don't know. Don't know how that'll work out. But anyways, now let's check this out. We got Matriarch's writings. I suppose when it said it was an Asari capsule, probably should have expected that. There were several artifacts stored here, all worthless except for one of Matriarch Delinaga's writings. Whether it was uncovered at this dig site or elsewhere is unclear. Alright. Sounds good. And that was definitely the marker here. But the reason why I was getting Pressure Jaw vibes was because there's this kind of relatively flat area that is around this little plateau that we are currently on. And there was this little place where there was sort of this circle. There's this somewhat defined circle in the ground. Like, you can see that. So the perimeter around here, where it's almost like it's this boss arena-like barrier, or marker, if you will. So, I don't want to just drive around here a little bit, see if maybe we just didn't get close enough to trigger it, but there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance. I think there may be. Perhaps not. I mean, this here is relatively uneven. But I think the original thing that I saw that was making me think of it was this flat area here. Maybe a little bit on the small side for a thresher as well. Pressure? What? What are you talking about? I thought you said pressure jaw. Okay, now I'm just getting disoriented. Oh, this is the angle we came from. Yeah, we want to go... Whoa. Well, that's the extremely hot star. It's pretty big. And it's, you can see it moving. Looks pretty close. Despite us being, what, we're like the third farthest planet away from the star in the system. So there are two planets that are closer to it than we are. So, perhaps understandable. I mean, that looks like that is just, like, touching this planet. And that's, or actually, we're on a moon. That's the planet. Yeah, that is a sight to see. And speaking of sights to see, let's double check our map here just to verify if we're about to run into anything. And the answer is, we have no idea what's over here. I'm a little bit tempted to see if there's anything in this little alcove here. Again, whenever there's sort of a large, semi-circular, flat area in an otherwise hilly spot, that's where the pressure jaw sensors start to go a little crazy. Let's just duck in a little bit here. Avoid having to go way up that steep mountain. Anything else? Around here, I think we still may have a ways to go northward before we hit the border. That was an interesting way to land. Okay, here is the edge. Let's make sure we actually hit the corner itself. Just to be sure.